So we're gonna learn how to prep a caliper. Now, I am using a new caliper in this explanation. A couple steps when you have your old caliper, and obviously you will not have it on a bench like I do. But basically, if you have your caliper disassembled, what I like to do, whether it's new or you're redoing it, is I like removing one bolt and essentially removing the two halves, the bracket and the caliper. So what I do here essentially is, let's start off with the bracket. If you have a used caliper or you're reusing your caliper, what you want to do is basically clean up these surfaces. You can hit them with a wire brush, a wire wheel, whatever you have available. Here, these are all clean, so obviously we don't have to clean anything. So what I like to do is take some lube. Now, the product that I use is this. And what I do is, you just want to lightly add some lube right here. This is a high temperature ceramic brake lube. It does really good in these applications. Now, a lot of people do this very differently. I like doing it this way. I live in the Midwest. This is where I work out of, in the Midwest. We have a lot of salt, a lot of varying temperature. So if I coat it underneath and then I put the shims in place, what eventually will happen is it should help reduce the rust. So let me grab the shims here so we can put our shims on. Now, most brakes come with these. These are called shims. If they don't, you may want to get some. I always recommend replacing these whenever you replace your brakes. Essentially, how these go on is quite simple. You just find which side they go on. So in this case, this one goes here, and as you can see, just snaps right in. And you just keep doing that for all four corners. Now that we have all the shims placed on there and we have lube underneath the shims, what I like to do is take my ceramic lube for brakes and also coat the shim as well. I put on a generous amount, and then usually I will clean it up afterwards so it's not too much on there. You definitely want to get enough so the pad has lubrication to move, but you don't want it to get all over your new brake pad. So you do want to clean up a little bit, and obviously you don't want to get it on any surfaces in here. You want to be able to just get it on the contact points. A lot of different ways that people do this. Now, this has been my preferred method because you get a nice coating on everything. And like I said, you don't want to overdo it. So after you brush that, what I like to do is I basically come in here and I just make sure that there's not a lot. As you can see, there's some over there. And what you want to do if that does happen is you just grab your rag and, just wipe it away. You can use brake cleaner, whatever you have on hand. You just want to make sure that that does not get anywhere on the new pad or the pads that you're replacing, and obviously on the rotor surface. So next, what we do here is we're going to remove the pins. So now this is the new caliper, and I'll give you guys a warning. If you buy a new caliper and you just slap it on and you don't do this, you can have an issue down the road, because this is brand new, a remanufactured caliper, and as you can see, this is the amount of grease they give you. If I just put this on the truck and I let it go down the road, this thing will be back in a few thousand miles with a locked up caliper pin. So what you want to do is, now, as you can see, they use silicone lube on there. I use a silicone purple high temperature lube, so I just wipe off that. You want to start off fresh, and then you do a nice coating. Now, you don't want to go crazy here. You want to get enough on there, and what I always like to do is I put a little bit on the tip right there, so that way we have enough going in there, and you want to just slide it in. Move it around a little bit. You also want to burp the boot. The best way to do that is basically, I'll re-show you here. If I push it in, see how it pushes out, and the bellows are kind of pushing out. So what you want to do is do this, and you basically burp it, and you want to get it nice and flat. So now it has the ability to push out, but also has a little bit of movement. So you just want to burp it out. So that's how we do the pins. And we left one pin on the caliper. So what we're going to be doing now is we're going to basically loop this one up and repeat the same procedure as I did on the other one. So now I've reassembled everything. I got everything looped up, and this is another point that I want to mention. Now, some people do this differently. Again, guys, this is just my way of doing it, so hopefully I don't get too much hate on this. Everyone has a different method. Some people will grease up the back of the new pad. this does work, but if you get any material in between where these openings are, it's just gonna likely wash away and get on your new pad and possibly cause an issue down the road. So what I do is, instead of lubricating the actual back of the pad, and some people will even say don't even lubricate these pads because they're shim, but I find that if you have a little bit of grease in between, it'll definitely help out with any sort of movement and possibly any seizing issues. So the way I do this is I take my lube, again, same thing, high temp brake lube, and I lightly put it on the contact surfaces. Wherever there's metal that'll be contacting the pad, you want to basically coat it. Now, you don't want to go crazy with this, you just want to do a light coating, as you can see I'm doing here. Unfortunately, there's no real clean way to do this. You just kind of put it all over and just don't overdo it. Again, just want to get enough on there so everything works. Now we also do it on the inside of the teeth here. As you saw, I just did the calipers. You want to get it nice in there. Most brake lubes will come with a brush. Brushing it on is what I find to be the easiest. Less mess, less cleanup. So give it a nice coating. I go evenly on there. I try to remove any excess, and I just look for any points where the caliper may touch. Now, if you noticed, I did get a little bit out of pocket right here. So what I do is I just clean it up like that, and I also do it on the other side. And you can see I get to remove a lot of that extra that we had. So that's basically how you prep the caliper. And once you do this, basically what you do is install the bracket on the car with the caliper, set your pads in, make sure you tighten everything down, torque it, whatever way, style you prefer to do it, and that's basically the gist of it. I just wanted to make this video to show you guys where to lubricate and how I do it. Now, again, this may not be for everybody. A lot of you may do it differently. This is just my method. I've been using it for years, and I've never had a customer issue or complaint, let alone even any noise issues doing it this way. The key point to this is not to overdo it with the lube. You want to just get enough on there, but not overdo it. So thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys on my next video.